Hello, students. It is Mr. Eberhard for COM 2440. I realize I haven't been on in a while here. My personal life right now has been probably as crazy as yours has been. So I skipped making a video for Module 3. We'll just leave that one to have you do it on your own. Follow the directions again when you go to the description for the module. For Module 4, I'm going to make a video for this one for this week because I've had a couple people start to get this far into the course. Now that you're getting close to halfway through your leadership journey, right there in Nordhaus, the idea now is to begin to focus in your thoughts around your personal vision statement. So let me show you and kind of walk you through the steps that I want you to do to complete this, all right? And I haven't even uploaded anything until just now to make sure that we didn't get too far ahead, because you want to make sure that this goes in steps, okay? So first things first, obviously, you want to head to your class. That's here with us. And you click on the modules, obviously, right? So head to the modules. And once you're in your modules, you go down to obviously module 4. It shouldn't even unlock technically until you finish module 3. So no worries there. All right. So read through the description here. I am going to embed this video as well, right? I think underneath the description right here. This will be coming in the future. I head down to course objectives, yada, yada. Okay. I have now added a link here, number 4. This link is what you're going to want to click on, and that will take you to your mission statement template. All right, expand that a little bit. This has been adapted by my wife and by me. We have been at this kind of stuff quite a while, and so we thought, why don't we go ahead and create our own that's kind of an amalgamation of all the different kinds that we have gone through over the years. So follow these steps here, okay? Go through these. When I went through it, it was not quite as thorough as these, but you'll kind of see that it's very, very thorough. When you're developing your final mission statement shouldn't be any larger than about a sentence. The fewer words, maybe even the better. I think the rule of thumb with a lot of mission statements for businesses and things like that is keep it simple, 7 words or less. You don't necessarily have to do that and keep it just 7 words, but follow these through. So in Mr. E's case, in my case, I am best when I'm spending time with my wife. We are bantering back and forth our own academic content, looking at the news, academically interested and invested in research and reading, and then bringing that to students. And then for me personally, I'm at my best when I'm playing drums as well. I hit flow. I'm at my worst. I'm at my worst when I lose my temper. When I become angry, Mr. E has learned over the years that anger is the enemy. Anger is the enemy to personal growth. It's the enemy to effective relationships. My temper, my anger is something that I developed, unfortunately, from my father. And even now, I still struggle with sometimes that I don't want to put this, that demon inside that wants to lash out when somebody disagrees with me, when somebody humiliates me, when somebody cuts me off in traffic. I'm a human like you are. I'm at my worst when my anger takes over my thinking. I'm truly happy when I am listening to the great, great thoughts, whether that's by reading them or listening to them on YouTube channels, but being around the great, great thoughts of history and sociology and of sociologists and philosophers and leadership gurus all through the ages, when I'm not necessarily surfing through the nightmares of the daily news, But when I'm actually contemplating and thinking about possibilities of the future, when I'm actively working towards something that has real meaning, like bringing education to children and to you, young, and in some cases maybe not so young, but you seekers of wisdom here in college as well. I'm at my best. I'm truly happy when I'm doing this, bringing all of my years of experience as much as I can to learners. That's when I'm happy. I want to be a person who I want to be a person who actually mattered. I realize that none of us can live through this life and that we are all going to die. And I want to be a person who, when all is said and done, even if it's for a small core group of people, they remember back to Mr. Eberhardt. They remember back to my classes. They remember some small bit of something that I brought them that gave them comfort, solace, enlightenment. Maybe they're listening to a CD that I produced of music and they're enjoying the moment. I want to be a person who mattered. That's what brings me meaning. Someday I would like to be able to possibly teach full time, maybe even remotely at the university level. That would be one of my dreams. My deepest positive emotions come when I am around my wife and family, and I'm able to bring all of the little tidbits of knowledge that I've acquired over the years into their lives and help them um, in their journey as well. You're probably like me. I've had conversations with my parents and with family members lately where there are times that I'm not sure where they're coming from or what information they got or how they got that information. But I love the chance to even teach even my family how to be a better thinker. Again, I'm going to come back to this guy again and again and again because he's kind of a personal hero. Carl Sagan was a man who helped clarify for me and for I think millions of other people how to think, how to detect what he called a baloney detector, how to develop this thing, how to stay sane in a world gone insane. So if you get a chance, check that guy out, Carl Sagan. Any of his books, Pale Blue Dot, Demon Haunted World, uh, fantastic. Just an incredible astrophysicist, physicist, and thinker, way ahead of his time. My greatest talents and best gifts are my drumming. My best gifts are my wife, flat out. My wife, she helped me find a path out of the darkness when I was a young, brooding, angry 20-something young man who was not always very level-headed. When all is said and done, the most important things in life are those moments in time where you feel like you're part of something much larger. Those are the most important things in my life. The sunset that you can never replace, the moments with family where somebody cracks a joke and you're cracking up on the floor, dying of laughter for half hour. The moments in time where you get to hang out with friends and with people and bring happiness into their world. And for me, the most important things in life, of course, are to also help young people find pathways to enlightenment and to a better life. That's the most important things in life. And then possible life goals for me. Now, this is where when I went through my trainings before, and I specifically went through some of the Covey trainings, which is Stephen and Franklin Covey. They come out of Utah, that kind of stuff. And they had you go through this whole list. For me, I eventually came up with a list years ago that was like, develop a website. Well, check, did that. Record on dozens of albums. Check, did that. Become a teacher. Check, did that. So now my possible life goals for me are to actually retire with some dignity. Like I'm actually on the back end now. I realize that most of you are just starting out in your front end, but for me, I'm in that kind of that back third of my educational career. And so I'm starting to get to the point in my life where I want to make sure that like my wife and myself have some financial security, not insanity. Because I don't know if I shared with you the study that came out of Indiana, Purdue, that showed that past about $105,000 a year, there is no correlation with happiness and money. But if you don't hit that $105,000 a year, there were ebbs and flows, right? And it depends on the people. It really does. But they showed, I think, pretty convincingly and statistically that, boy, you hit about 100 grand a year and there's no, you can make $100 million a year and there seems to be no increase in the happiness of your life. So that's going to be one of my life goals right now, is to make sure that in our retirement we're not like struggling, and that we have the freedoms to be able to continue doing this kind of stuff, helping other people, and being part of a larger community of those seeking wisdom and seeking to promote science and reason and sane thinking. Um, Now, as you go down the page here, you'll go ahead and write that out. As you keep going, you want to go through your definitions and be specific, right? Because this is something that's really meaningful for you. Don't rush this. This is something, again, that you want to take your time, okay? You really want to think about anybody who's mentored you and what it is about that person that you want to mimic. You want to go ahead and get your life roles defined as they are right now, right? So mine is teacher, yours might be mom, dad, that kind of stuff. Okay. You can list out those roles that you have that are the top ones. Then take your time and like handwrite. I personally would choose to handwrite, maybe print this out if you can. Handwrite your first draft, because you're going to find that when you handwrite something, it's more meaningful. When I did this, I kept mine up on the wall for about close to a month, and then I came back to it. Now I realize our class is only going to go 8 weeks, so you might not have a month, but write it out and then come back to it. Take a look at what you wrote out and then put it under the microscope. If all you care about is money, why is that? If all you care about is getting through college as fast as possible, why is that? Turn your critical eye on yourself and where it is you think you want to go. Once you've done that and you have some time to bounce off your mind and think about what it is you wrote down, go ahead and write out your permanent version here. Then there's some examples here. We wrote down some really interesting examples that we've gotten over the years, I should say. Some are vague, right? I mean, some are some vague statements because people are not really completely sure, and that's okay. Maybe that's where you are right now. The whole point of the Blue Book of the Finding Your True North is to help you with this as well. This is actually a personal mission statement generator, this entire book. You're just going to do like this one for us, for me, for this class, okay? Read some of these. These should be what helps you clarify. You can see what some other people wrote before you, go through the lens of critical thinking and evaluation on your own, and then be willing to share it out. What I would love to see is in the discussion thread that I'll create for this week, when you're ready, share out your personal vision statements. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in public, you can obviously just email me, but be willing to identify what it is that really drives you, where you see yourself going. Because if you don't have a plan, then you're really planning kind of to fail. That was something that I heard from an educator a long time ago. And this should help you formulate a much clearer idea of where you want to be, right? So, and I was very specific in mine. Mine included things like making sure I did yoga at least once a week, making sure that I was around music as much as possible, making sure that I was spending time with my wife in meaningful ways, where I put my phone down and I wasn't there while I was conversing with her, making sure that we did as much traveling as we could afford, so that our minds would expand and I could see how other people lived. I did check, right? My personal mission statement that I did years ago included things like I said, drumming, continue to do that. What's incredible is that looking back on it now, I about 75% of those things I've been able to do. Check. Perform in front of 20,000 people, um, teach drums lessons to students that are dedicated, that want to go on and become professional musicians and drummers. Done. Stay happily married. That was number one on the list, because I saw so many people, and I see so many people as products of divorce and suffering when love is fractured. It was very important for me to stay happily married and invest time and energy in my marriage. So we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. That came before a pay raise. That came before me ever becoming a school principal. I don't think I'll ever even become a school principal or administrator or leader, because quite frankly, my wife comes first for me. My students even come first before something like that, like a paycheck. So from in my own personal journey, that's what was on my mission statement. Okay. All right. I've been rambling on long enough. If you do have questions and concerns, anything like that, please do reach out. I know you've been fantastic in the class so far with that. And good luck with that. Double check again the personal mission statement builder that you can download it. Obviously, you have to do your chapter quizzes here that keep you honest for 7-8. I think they're pretty straightforward. Most of you are doing fantastic job on that. Keep up the good work. This will be a little bit of a change. I combined it, so there won't be a part 2. There really will just be the one that I just showed you. Get that done, get that written out, and then be willing to share out what your personal mission is in the discussion thread. Okay. Outside of that, students, have a great week and take care. We'll see you.